welcome to this T20 special, Royal Stag Perfect Strokes. The T20 World Cup is in India for the first time, and we have the unique privilege of being joined by three individuals who are winners of the first inaugural T20 World Cup when India surprised the world by winning the cup. Please give a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, to my three very special guests today. I'm joined by Virender Sehwag, arguably the most destructive batsman that India has ever produced. Gautam Gambhir, who was man of the match in that famous final many years ago in South Africa. And Robin Uthappa, who was a member of that winning team in 2007. We're now in 2016, and almost a decade later, India is hoping to win the T20 World Cup once again, this time on home soil. So my obvious question, and I hope the answers won't be diplomatic, Virender Sehwag, is India good enough to win this World Cup? Is this team of 2016 actually better than the team that you played in 2007, which won the World Cup?
I think this team is more balanced than the 2007 World Cup, I can say that, because that time most of the players were youngsters. Now they are matured, and because the World Cup is happening in India, and they are more experienced players because they played a lot of cricket in India, and they know the condition better than anybody else. So I think, in my opinion, that we have a 99% chance to win the World Cup.
You have a 99% chance to win the World Cup. But that means you're saying there's a 1% chance that we won't win the World Cup.
Yeah, because of rain.
Okay. Okay. Gautam Gambhir, you will remember going into that World Cup, Tendulkar not playing, Dravid not playing, Ganguly, because they were not interested, it appeared, in T20 cricket. Was that the moment that changed, or was it winning that final that suddenly convinced us that T20 is also cricket? Otherwise, people thought T20 is just masala.
Well, I think winning the final for sure. I think if you ask me one moment, what was that one moment throughout the tournament? Obviously winning the final, because whichever World Cup you play, irrespective of whatever format it is, when you're representing your country in a World Cup game or in a World Cup tournament, it's about winning the World Cup. And when we ended up winning the World Cup, that's when we realized that it was. Before that, I don't think so. All of us realized it's going to be that big. But only after winning the World Cup, we realized that it had become really, really big. The kind of celebrations and the kind of impact it had after winning the World Cup, especially back home, was unbelievable.
Robin Uthappa, let's turn to that final. It was not just winning a World Cup. You beat Pakistan twice while winning that World Cup. Once in what is called a bowl-out, and once was the final where you got the run-out. Did that make it extra special in some way, beating Pakistan twice in a World Cup?
Well, I think winning the first one obviously created a lot of momentum for us in the tournament, which I think is extremely critical in the T20 tournament. To be successful in the tournament, I think momentum is a big factor at the start of a tournament, and we happen to have that after the bowl out against Pakistan in the first game.
Anybody saw that match where 5 people had to hit the stumps? Had any of you ever seen a bowl out in your life before that?
No, I think we practiced before that.
So we practiced a bowl out?
Yeah, we got the news that if match got tied, so we have to practice. We have to do the bowl out.
Okay, so you were the first in that bowl out, and you knew how to hit a stump with the ball.
Yeah, I did that in practice.
I didn't practice because I couldn't hit the stumps.
You couldn't hit
the two people.
But Robin, you also hit the stumps. Had you practiced for a bowl out?
Well, yes. In fact, Venkatesh Prasad, who was a bowling coach at that point in time, made us play this game as a part of the warm-up at the end of the practice, at the beginning of each practice session. After we finished our warm-ups, we played this as a game. So it was good fun, and I think most, as in Viruba and I and a couple of other batsmen, were hitting the stumps more often than the bowlers. So when it came up, we said, give us the ball, we'll hit the stumps.
One last image of that World Cup was the kind of reception you got when you came back. There was a bus, BST bus. It was raining in Mumbai. Thousands of people had lined the road. Did you ever imagine, Robin Uthappa, that so many people would have lined up in Mumbai on a rainy day to greet you for a World Cup victory of a T20 tournament?
We were completely surprised, and we didn't expect it whatsoever. When we got there, we heard a little bit of a noise outside the airport, and we thought it'll probably finish there at the airport. But once we got onto the bus and we got out, as we left the airport, it started raining, and 5 hours later, by the time we reached the stadium, We were drenched, and then by halfway through, the sun came out. And by the time we reached Wankhede, we were dried up. And it was a phenomenal journey. That 5 hours itself is a story in itself, and you probably can write a book.
You don't want to come out of retirement to play a T20 World Cup, right?
No, I'm happy. I'm very happy with my career.
What was that one perfect moment that you can possibly think of straight away?
That final we played against Pakistan, that was the perfect moment because we beat Pakistan in the finals.
4 years ago, when the T20 World Cup in Sri Lanka against my very good friend, taking the last catch, the champion catch to win the cup.
Fabulous.
Well, for us, it was the last T20 World Cup. I think when Tissera hit that straight boundary over Ashwin's head, because we've been so close so many times and haven't been able to grab hold of that trophy. So I know it was against the Indians, but it was a sweet moment for us.
Dwayne, I mean, one team, you and I have spoken about this, one team with so many match winners. Yes, I know you will be missing Sunil Narayan, Pollard, and maybe Lendl Simmons. But still, it's a very good unit. I mean, it's Chris Gale, you. It's a solid 20-20 unit.
Yeah, I think we are blessed to have such talented players in the shorter format. Obviously, missing those 3 players, as I mentioned, is a big loss. But a lot of teams might not be able to recover of losing 3 match winners like that. I think we still feel comfortable in the 3 players that replace them. And also, we still feel we have a very good chance of doing well in this tournament.
Can you tell us what is so special about Virat Kohli?
He understands his game. I think that's where the difference is. If you take a lot of the great players like Sachin or Jacques or Ricky, over a period of time they mature as an individual and as a cricketer. And I think Virat has done that. And he understands his game and he plays within those limitations and has got a wall around him. So it's quite difficult to penetrate that as an opposition. So he's in a very good space right now and playing some very good cricket. And, as an opponent, I think, I'm happy that I'm not playing against him right now because it was hard work to try and see how we managed to get him out.
Is Virat Kohli on current form the best batsman in the world?
Well, definitely, if you take the last year or so, definitely in the shorter format, I think Virat is the best batsman.
Virendra Sehwag opening the batting, prefer to bowl against him or Mahela in the middle order? Come on, tell me. Both are difficult.
They're both very difficult. Obviously, Viru will kill you immediately. Mahela will kill you, but take you to the length. So they're both very dangerous
So
players.
he'll make you suffer more.
He make you suffer more. This one will kill you immediately.
So that's easy. Dwayne, when you sort of watch from an outside perspective, do you think Pakistan has it in them to beat India?
All teams know that Pakistan have always produced good bowling attack, whether it's spin bowling or fast bowling. But the batting more often let them down. So if their batsmen can actually bat properly and give the bowler something to defend, then it could be definitely a different ball game. But it's all boiled down to the batsmen. I think the bowlers will more often take care of the game. But it's always good to see both teams play because, as I said, it's like Australia versus England. India, Pakistan is one of the biggest cricket game in cricket. So I'm happy I'm not a part of it.
Viru, can you think of any sledge in an India-Pakistan match? Any banter? Say a Virendra Sehwag, Shoaib Akhtar classic in terms of verbal duels?
Very rarely. Until if I am batting and somebody is disturbing me, then only I can reply. Otherwise,
Did that
it's
happen?
very difficult to criticize a bowler who's bowling 150 km per hour. Because the moment you do that, you never know. Maybe he can bowl a beamer and he can say sorry. And then one sorry and you are down on the ground.
But did it ever happen? You said rarely. Do you remember any?
Yeah, it happened, but this is not the place to tell.
Mahela, honestly, if you were to give me an honest answer, how much is Sri Lanka missing Mahela and Sangakkara at this stage?
I don't think they miss us, to be honest. I think
That's
I think
diplomatic.
what you have to realize is that you have to sometimes maybe be selfish for good reasons. Kumar and I felt that like after the last T20 World Cup and the last 50 over World Cup, that we could not last as players for the next World Cup. So rather than us hanging on to that and hoping that we'll be ready for that World Cup, we are doing dishonesty to the team and for the country. Because if we are not going to be good enough, we need to step down and let the next generation take over and give them adequate time to prepare for the World Cup. So those are the decisions that we take, and that's...
Sort of when you approach a World Cup, I mean, just round the corner, within moments it'll start. Is it about potential? Is it about talent? Is it about pressure?
No, I think it's a bit of everything. You first got to be talented enough and good enough to fight with the best, because there's some great sides in the World Cup. And when you have the talent, you find a way to handle pressure. There's pressure on everyone, and I believe that pressure is something which you put on yourself. So from my point of view, the quality of the side is important. It's about backing that ability under pressure, and you only handle pressure when you have that confidence in you that you're good enough to do it. So it's a bit of both, and I don't think one sole reason is responsible for the success, and that's the way it is. At international cricket, the difference in ability between players are not much. You're good, that's why you get to that level. And I think it's about how you handle the situation on that particular day.
How do you analyze, say, an MS Dhoni and a Steve Smith, or the leading captains at this point in time in the world? And how important is the role of a captain in T20 cricket?
Yeah, captains is very important in any team and in any format. I think especially in T20 format, because one over can change an entire game. And if it is as a captain, you don't read the game, don't know when is the right time to bring on a particular bowler or something like that, the game can actually go away from you. But whether it's MS or Steve Smith or Gautam, anyone, if you have a good quality, balanced team, your team will make you look good as a captain.
So is that a strength of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, that he backs his players?
It is his strength, and that's the reason he survived for such a long period. He's had his ups, he had his downs, he's made mistakes as well. There's no doubt about it that at times he should have continued with certain players even after they had some bad run, and I think Gautam is one prime example of it. He was an outstanding player for India, and then obviously lost his place out. So I think he's done a lot of good things, MS Dhoni, but just like every human being, human nature, he's made some mistakes, which all captains will do. And I think he's done a wonderful job to survive for such a long time in Indian cricket. It's very, very hard to captain all formats for such a long period, along with the IPL. So you've got to give credit to MS Dhoni for the tenacity he showed and for the longevity.
Is this West Indies team under serious pressure?
The pressure more come from actually our board, to be honest, more than anything else. But for we as players, we come into the home of cricket. India is a home of cricket, and this is the best country to play cricket. And I think we have done so well here in IPL as individual players, and now for us to represent our own country in the home of cricket in a World Cup, there's nothing better I can ask for. So despite our differences off the field, as a team, we are not paying too much focus of it. And we want to do well in this World Cup because it could be our last World Cup for most of us. So yeah, definitely we want to do well and not worry much about what's going on off the field.
Saurav, you've pulled off a miracle by getting Pakistan, not only the backstage, but also by sorting the political problem out, by assuring them and all of that. So India-Pakistan, final before the final. How do you look at that match? I mean, special match for sure, but analyze it for us.
To be honest, I'm not surprised with the things which are happening around that game. It has happened in the past also, and I don't think it's going to change. India-Pakistan excites everyone in the world, especially in these two countries. But my question is, and I'm sure Gautam and Dwayne will agree, that whether they're good enough to beat India at the moment. I think that's what's going to matter, because at the end of the day, it's what happens in the ring. What happens outside will die down. Among all this noise and all these issues and people turning up, it's about the cricket match which I'm worried, because that has to stand up for this entire excitement to have a proper finish. And I hope Pakistan play well. The good thing for them is they'll be at Calcutta for a week. So it's not that they jump in and they jump out after a match. So they will get used to the conditions, the pitches on the same surface they will play for a while. So that's one good thing for them. but I don't know whether they have the batting to counter India at the moment.
Gautam, I mean, to add to what Saurav is saying, I mean, the one stat that has now become a bogey or a monkey in Pakistan's back is the fact that they've not beaten India from 1992 on. So 25 years, 30 years rather, 35 years, 25 years, you've not beaten a country in a World Cup match. Is that added pressure on this Pakistan team?
If you see now, obviously it would, because it becomes too much psychological as well, that they might be desperate as well to beat India, especially in the World Cup, because there's so much of hue and cry that they've never beaten India in the World Cup. But if you see the current side, if you have to compare both the sides, India is a far better side. And you got to accept that. And the reason why Pakistan is not being able to beat India consistently now is because India is a far better side than Pakistan. But all these stats do play a lot of things in your mind, because sometimes it gets really psychological and you get desperate to win that game as well. And sometimes when you get desperate, you put yourself under a lot of pressure, which you would not want to, because there itself will be a lot of pressure when you would be playing in India. So when you start getting desperate for a win, they might just buckle under that pressure.
How good is Mohammad Amir? Because that Asia Cup spell was sensational. I mean, does he add that X factor to this Pakistan team? And when you led India against Pakistan at Centurion, was there extra pressure on you that you've got to win that game?
Yeah, of course there was extra pressure in that game, because it was a World Cup game. And we were in outstanding form in that World Cup. We beat everyone to get to the final. And, the best thing about India-Pakistan game is when you wake up in the morning and open the curtains of your hotel, you see about 10,000 people standing outside, both India and Pakistan. So the pressure starts from breakfast time.
It will start this time also when people ask you for tickets, so don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's easier this time because I don't have to play. So it's a lot easier giving tickets than facing Wasim Akram and Waqar Younis from each of the ends. So from that point of view, I think Amir is a great talent. When you see him swing the ball at that pace, you enjoy watching it. I probably wouldn't have enjoyed watching him if I was playing against him. But when I don't have to play him, you just admire his ability. And it's good to see him back because he's young, and hopefully he keeps his head right for a long period of time to play for Pakistan, because you want such talents to play more 100 test matches, because he's such a serious cricketer. It's just a natural talent which amazes me. No systems, no academies around Pakistan. You play on the streets, you play with a tennis ball wrapped with a plaster, and you turn up and bowl 150 kilometers an hour. That's why it's a special place.
In our Dream IPL 11, sir, there were 4 players, and interestingly so, 2 from India, 2 from West Indies, which weren't there in the World 11 because they weren't selected in squads, namely Pollard, Narayan, and Gambhir and Uthappa. So, can you tell us how much politics will affect cricket in India and in West Indies, sir?
I think Dwayne will answer the West Indies part.
And Gautam will answer the India one?
And Gautam can answer the Indian part.
Gautam, politics?
Not at all.
I'll just interfere. Basically, you're asking Gautam Gambhir that he should be in the team or not. And we want that answer from him, that whether he should be in the team or not.
I'll have my headline.
Obviously, representing your country in the World Cup is always a dream, and you would want to be there playing. But as I said, this is not the time to talk about the squads. Squads are announced. It's time to back your team and see where they finish.
Dwayne, West Indies?
What do you want to know about West Indies?
He's asked you. Is there politics? There is.
There's politics everywhere.
Okay, you got your answer.
Mr. Bravo, can I come and do a dance with you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I answer that question.
Okay, so Saurav has answered it for you. We get Dwayne, come up on stage. Saurav, Gautam and I will cheer. The lady who wanted to dance, please come. So we'll have you dance with Dwayne. We'll play the music from Champion, which is the new music video that Dwayne's about to launch. So Dwayne, the stage is all set for you.
Okay, this song is the new song that I'm going to release. It's called Champion. And if everyone believes there's a champion, this is my new song and my new dance. It's called Champion. It's very simple. And we're going to be doing like this.
Yeah, that's the music.
Bravo. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows it. Bravo, a champion. Champion, 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 champion.
के साथ मैं हूं सईद अंसारी। बड़ी खबर इस वक्त दिल्ली से आ रही है और दिल्ली के इंदिरा गांधी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय हवाई अड्डे में 2 विमानों में बम मिलने की खबर है। दोनों विमानों को रोक दिया गया है और तलाशी चल रही है। दिल्ली से
So this time it's going to be me who's going to be talking to you.
It's going to be me who's going to tell you what's new from the world of technology. We have news, we have reviews, and we have Sahil doing the Redmi Note 3 review. And